Welcome to the Divorce Dad Playbook podcast. I am in a funk. Scott, how are you?
I'm not in a funk. I'm actually doing pretty well.
Well,
Sorry.
good for you. This is
I'm not trying to rub it in.
This is a difficult week for me, which I'd like to talk to you about. And I wrote some topics down that I think are going to be hopefully pretty interesting to other people. I do have some fun planned later because I needed it. But right now, the way, and I'm serious, yesterday I was sitting around and I had a conversation, which I'll get into because I just was very uncomfortable with a conversation I had with someone. And I'm just sitting around, I dropped the kids off, and we're taping this on a Friday. And Scott, when I don't have the kids on a weekend and I drop them off on a Thursday and don't have them again until Tuesday, especially a weekend where there's a lot going on, the weekend we're taping this, there's a lot going on and some of my plans got canceled. I'm in a funk. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, we've always talked about transitions, and A, the transitional part of it is hard, and B, yeah, you got to fill up your time. I mean, I guess what that says to me is if you're really struggling for stuff to do, I got plenty of work for you to do this weekend.
No. I filled up my time because last night I spent, no lie, an hour and a half to try to find the perfect theme song for when you're in a funk. It's funk.
Yeah, there we go.
So here's the thing about this song, and I know that this has nothing to do with what I want to talk about, but I'm doing it. I tried to get George Clinton and P-Funk All-Stars because that's like
on the podcast.
On the podcast. Well, George Clinton might be a little bit of a difficult get at this point, but nonetheless, sorry.
Rest his soul.
Yes. So the thought was to get that because for those who don't know, which is probably everyone except our brother, that was like Paul's favorite band for years, right?
Yes.
He'd go see P-Funk all over the place before he turned into like a fish head or whatever. And so I was like, well, none of the songs that I got just like captured that, like We Want the Funk, like whatever. Do you know who this is? You don't. I know that you don't. This was from this late 1970s. And it was never actually released. This is like a deep cut.
I wasn't even around in the late 70s.
First of all, you were born in 1972. You were around in the late 70s.
Oh, ouch.
By the way, is it all right if we just, because I'm in a funk. This is a 55-minute recording that I have right now. Can we just lay it under us the entire show? And then occasionally when we stop talking, it's like...
No, but anytime you're feeling a little bit down, you can pop it in. How's that?
I'm gonna do that.
I'm not listening to this the entire time. Although it is nice going into the weekend that you do a little ode to our brother. I'm sure Paul will appreciate this.
Speaking of an ode to our brother, this is Prince on guitar. He was like 19 years old.
Rest his soul.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and another one that our brother got at least me into growing up. He was 19 or something when he did this, was like an amazing funk guitarist. And then, big media, big radio or whatever got his hooks in him, and he turned into, the most intricate sex symbol in the history of music, other than maybe Madonna.
Yeah.
So how do you get out of the funk?
Funk. Play some funk. Right. Prince and funk. Yeah. Hey, did that work for you?
Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm still in the funk, but I'm in the funk. So there you go.
Is that what you're going to be doing all weekend? You're just going to be like dancing around.
I might have to. And 2 hours, I think that took me to find, and it was worth it. I was doing other work, by the way. I just want people to know, like I wasn't just sitting here looking for funk. I was updating. Did a nice post on the different types of divorce that will be on the site for people who need that, people who are going through that process. And by the way, a lot of things that I didn't know. This is not just like, we're putting lists together. This is all informative. I did not know the difference between, for example, a cooperative divorce and a no-fault. And it's very subtle, the difference between arbitration and mediation and, like I said, cooperative divorce. They're very, very different. And so this is some good information that we have on the site.
Yeah, well, good, because I was worried there for a second that you actually spent an hour and a half just looking up funk music last night. I was like, I'm not so sure you're spending your time as wisely as I'm spending mine.
You don't like the post that I'm working on and by the way, doing this, the top 10 songs to listen to when you're in a funk? Because
I did it. I didn't know that's what you're doing, but so
Because
it was
just
research. So it was research last night. Is what you're saying.
research, yeah. Just in case you need a refresher of the songs that I'm gonna have on.
I really did need a refresher.
All right, let's talk about things that got me in this funk, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. By the way, I will just say, as you go into that, I always thought at some point when I was going through a divorce and kind of in a funk at that point, I felt like when I was I've worked in New York City for a long time. I always kind of felt like I needed like my own theme music as I was walking down the street. Like
Yeah.
I always, could see like a band playing behind me or something, and they could just like play however I was feeling, like kind of like bring me up, get me excited for a meeting, get me going and all that. So, but now you can just have it in your ears. So there you go. You
All
can
right.
walk
So,
around.
you know what? That's a great thing that you said. And we're going to throw this out there. Email us, either of us, both of us, whatever you're going to do. And we do have a podcast email, but for right now, I actually kind of prefer the personal touch. So it's Dan at Divorce Dad Playbook. You're Scott at divorcedadplaybook.com. I had that same thought yesterday. And that's what led me to like this funk search. Is I thought to myself, what is the song that no matter how bad of a feeling I have, no matter how difficult the day is, if I hear that song come on the radio, if I put it on a playlist, it always gets me excited. It always gets me out of my, in this case, funk. And I couldn't think of it. Like there's old punk songs that I listen to, that bring back positive memories from when I was a kid and stuff. And then I have a very sort of aggressive soccer, get my juices flowing playlist that when I go out on the field, I actually do drills. I'm not just like kicking a ball and being lazy.
Yeah.
And so I thought of that. And so there's like Rage Against the Machine and Run the Jewels and stuff like that, which just get you going. But
Welcome
the song
to the
that
jungle.
that's not on there, but yeah, I mean, stuff like that.
I
That's
used,
like
I used to I used to run to that when I was in high school.
to me, I connotate that
GNR.
to hockey. Like that's, they always used to play that at Flyers games when they were trying to get them like on a power play. So that was in my head. But the best song, this is maybe soccer specific, but I guess it could go for like dancing or even like tennis. The best song, and I can't play this, trust me, rights. I was going to play this, is James Brown, Get on the Good Foot. If you do footwork drills in any sport or just like, to get on the good foot, it's just like, bam.
The deep dive into your brain and how it works with like music and everything too. Here we go. You're about to play some music, aren't you?
I can make it.
Please don't play James Brown. I don't want to get a cease and desist. Okay.
No, this is still Prince. So good. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You can have When Doves Cry. You can have 1999. I'm taking this. This is the best Prince I've ever heard.
I will say, not that you're asking, I think you're having a conversation with yourself. You're not asking me many questions, but I'm going to tell you that I do have a song. My kids know this.
Right. I meant to ask you, what's your song?
Yes. Like, let's land the plane here, buddy. Land the plane. Right. Let's keep it going. So I don't feel like I necessarily have, there's some songs that bring me up and that's fine, but there's a song that just makes me feel at peace. And every single time it comes on,
if you say Enya, I'm hanging up on you, but go ahead.
I do like some Enya in the appropriate moments. I like it, and it's calming. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. Every single time I play it, I sing it. Yes, I love it. It brings me back to a great time in my life.
You were in college at that when that came out.
College,
I think. Maybe late high school.
Yeah, like that, like a little bit of Nirvana, but always Red Hot Chili Pepper, Under the Bridge. And I actually think, it's funny, because I actually think I talk to the kids about this a lot, because every time it comes on, I sing it, and they're like, no, turn it off. Like, don't sing, please. But I actually think it's...
You sing Under the Bridge to them?
Well, when it comes on, I sing along with it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's in the car.
No, it's fine. It's a fine song.
Yeah. I'm not singing it to them. I'm just singing it in general when they're
Sometimes I feel
like I don't have a partner.
Oh my God, that's like what we're talking about.
Right?
You're like your only friend.
This is the whole point that I'm trying to get to you, is that
God, wow, that is such a divorce song.
You have to listen to the words of the music that you're listening to, and that one has always just kind of put me at peace, where I just feel like, you know what, they're singing about what I'm going through, and I feel good about it.
Lonely as I am,
together we cry. Yep.
So here's my thing about Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Interesting, because I actually thought about the Red Hot Chili Peppers yesterday, because in my funk search, there's a documentary on P-Funk, and Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, who's like a phenomenal bassist, was mentioned or was on that documentary that I saw. And so, but I always have like a bittersweet relationship with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because they would have been one of the greatest funk bands of all time. If you listen to like their cover of Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground, if you listen to like some of their very early stuff, it's awesome. But then once they hit with Under the Bridge, they turned into like this like melodic jam band. And it's like, you just like, come on, guys, like you were awesome.
But everyone goes through that. It's like, it's your life, you know, like
Californication. Come on, that's like a terrible song.
It's not terrible. It's not my go-to. It's not terrible. You know, it's funny though. We were talking about this with some friends and a good friend of mine.
Did we have a topic today? I just want like this. We're just gonna stay with this, right?
Yeah. Well, no, this is good. Well, you're in a funk, so we're talking about things to get you out of funk, basically. So we're talking about, and music is.
Wait a minute. I'm in a what?
Exactly.
So good.
I mean, it's good. So we were talking.
55 minutes long.
Yikes! Well, we're not doing this for 55 minutes.
We're not doing this for that long.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about music for 55 minutes for sure. But I will say one other thing, that again, there's just some artists that you just sort of like from your background, and you know, as you get older and you go through this period. So I was talking to some friends younger, and they were asking me about my music taste. And I said, you know what? I said, I honestly at the time didn't think that they would even know who this artist was. You seem to know every artist. So I have
in my head who I think it's going to be. I'm not going to say it this time. I want you to say it first. God.
I don't think you're going to know what I'm going to say, but I'll be shocked if you said that's what I was thinking. You should write down a piece of paper and show it really quick. Write down a piece of paper, because there's no way.
Well, I'll show it afterwards. I'm not going to show it.
No. Obviously, you show it after I say it, because if you show it now, I'll be like, no.
Okay.
Is it written down? Okay.
Yeah. No,
so I was talking about Fiona Apple. Which you didn't write down. Yeah.
No, I wrote down Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
I thought you were square.
No,
I had Bootsy Collins on the mind.
No, I don't.
And so then Phil Collins.
At all. So Fiona Apple, who
very popular now. Her new album's like super huge, and it's amazing. On the playlist I made for Zoe. Yeah, it's very indie rock centric.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so when I said that to
this, can I sing Fiona Apple to you?
That would be weird. No, dude, please don't.
I won't shut up.
No, it's so weird. Stop.
I won't shut up.
Please shut up.
Kick me under the podcast all you want. I won't shut up.
Oh, we've gone off track. So in any case, another one.
Were we ever on track?
Who brought me way back, and is now, you know, reinvigorated herself and her career, and now has a whole new audience, which is really great. So when I said it, everyone was like, "What? You like Fiona Apple?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I love Fiona Apple." They're like, "Oh my God, your cool factor just went up like 10." And I was like, "Did?" Meanwhile,
like 2 years ago, you would have been like, "Who?"
Yeah,
that old lady that sang "Criminal."
Yeah, which, by the way, "Criminal." Ooh, that was awesome. That was such a great song.
I actually read an interview with her a while back, and she disappeared. Which is actually let's go into our actual topic about sort of mental health, but. She disappeared for a while, and her reasoning was that her life was comfortable. She's like, I made a ton of money, and I really just lost that sort of teenage angst that I had. I didn't want to fake it, and I didn't have anything to say. She's like, I had stuff to say, but I was like comfortable and rich and happy, and like it took until I could feel that sort of what made her popular in the first place again. And I'm sure she toured and you know, played the songs that she was famous for. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure she was making money on her music, but she just couldn't come up with new music until she had that same feeling. And that's very interesting, because Scott, you and I talk about this, and I think people know if they've gotten this far into the show, not just in this episode, but getting to this point. This is one thing that we don't do is fake it. We're not faking it. If we're in a funk, we're playing funk. We're not, you know, pretending like everything's fine. And so it's interesting that you bring her up, because I think that's courageous, professionally speaking, because she could have, I think she did 2 albums. One was huge, one was less. And then, you know, she just kind of disappeared. Like, you know what? I'm not going to put out crap just to make money off of people.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Look, you know, it's funny. It leads me to getting back to what we're talking about. And I think courageous is a good word. We're going to have a guest soon enough, and she'll be a contributor. Uh, it's a good friend of mine. She's a psychotherapist, and she works with kids and adults. And I was having a conversation with her about what we're doing and getting her involved and all that. And I said to her, I said, you know what, I just really like my goal in life, and it's not about stuff. It's not about all that other thing. I said, I just really want to be happy. I said, basically, I just want to be happy. And what she said to me, which was very interesting from a psychotherapist, she said, just be careful with that, because what you mean to say, she was right. She's known me for a long time. So what you mean to say is you want to be happy more often than not. Because if you go into life with an expectation that all you want to do is be happy, you're going to fail and you're going to be disappointed because you can't be happy all the time. And you know what? It really struck a chord with me. I said, it's actually that's spot on. So in terms of like having a funk, in terms of being in a funk, like you have to realize the only way that you can get out of a funk is to be in a funk. Because don't play the music, please. But because of the fact that you go through something that you feel bad and you feel off and you feel not happy, it makes those times where you feel joy and you're with the kids and you're out and about, whatever you're doing, more special. And the way that she explained it to me was so simple. And I was like, wow, we need to have you as a part of this. We need to have you on the show. So meanwhile, it's another guest. But I think relative to what we're talking about, she said that to me this week and it really stuck with me. And I think that's the right way. I want to be happy more often than I'm not. And I think when you talk about a funk, you're going to go through it. And sometimes you need to go through it in order to break out of it.
For people who are watching on the YouTube, and if you're not, go to our site, divorce.playbook.com, or go to our YouTube page and you can watch us. And we do the dancing and we do the hilarity, but then I couldn't even make eye contact with you on this because this is exactly what happened to me this week. I think that's awesome advice. I really do. I think it pertains to you. And that's where I always want to be careful about. She's not your therapist, she's your friend, but like, I need to be careful about that on my own side because, especially with psychotherapy or with, psychiatry and psychology and whatnot, there's not a blanket for everyone. Everybody's got a weighted blanket, but we all have different weights depending on what we need. And so in that case, like I see your point, and I think it's a really interesting way to put it, and that will help someone get out of a funk if they realize like this is a phase. We can get out of this. And I am fully subscribed into mindfulness and being present in the moment and ways to get in and out of specific mindsets. There is a difference between what you were talking about and being in a funk, which I am now, and being in a hole. And for me, I was in a hole for a long time. And the difference is that a funk you can get out of, play a little music, put on the Red Hot Chili Peppers or Fiona Apple or Prince. A hole is a different thing to get out of. And for me,
it's dark.
Excuse me. For me, that hole took a lot of time, a lot of effort on my part, and frankly, a lot of medical and professional help. And the reason I am in the funk is because that hole led to my divorce. We've talked about that a lot. And
well, it led to a lot of things.
Right. But specifically in this case, we are 3 days out from the first wedding anniversary that I will not be married in 18 years. And even last year, we were separated in the middle of October, but we were still married. And I frankly thought that was a phase. I thought we were going to get through that. I never thought that I would be sitting in an apartment with Baby Yoda on the wall, listening to funk music with you, talking about being divorced. I mean, honestly, like and so I know. I am hanging out with a friend of mine who is also divorced. She's the one I think I talk about all the time, who like, when I go out on a date, I send her my outfit and be like, is this okay? Like, does this look all right? So
she likes she likes Snickers.
Yeah. By the way,
no, I didn't mean to do this again. Please don't.
I'm not wearing them now, but like, honestly, like everybody's all about that. Like you have a style. It doesn't matter what the style is, but that's interesting too.
If you own your style, that's fine. But you can't, it was snowy here this morning. No, I'm not saying you fake it at all. I think you own it.
I was out the other day in 48-degree weather and I had my pants rolled up. I mean, but so the last couple of days have been pretty tough for me. Not only with that looming over my head, but frankly, the bigger thing that has happened to talk about therapists is my therapist is getting another job. And um, I started with her in late February, early March of whatever year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Was that 2018? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be 3 years.
Yeah. It will be 3 years.
Couple of months.
This coming February. Yes.
That's a longer relationship than a lot of marriages. And I told her, which is very difficult for me, that I feel like I got divorced twice. The difference between this one and my actual divorce is I have kids with my ex-wife. I see her all the time. Whether that's good or bad, I see her all the time. She's in my life still, a different
Right.
capacity, and our relationship has certainly been different and maybe better now.
Yeah.
But this almost feels more like a death because she's just gone from my life. And I, like I said to you that I was going to make this my therapist, and 2 episodes I talked about stuff and you had wonderful advice and you brought up like your friend's advice and stuff. And it doesn't hit me the same way. And I thought like, I can't fake that. I don't have that anymore. And I don't mean that as any disrespect to you or our audience. I'm just saying, like, to know now that on Wednesday I have no one to talk to is freaking me the shit out.
Yeah.
And like, so this coupled with the fact that, you know, a couple of days I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm not married on this day. And think about all the times that we went out and all of that stuff that we did when we were married, and all the shit that I did to essentially facilitate that not to be the case anymore. And then you add on the political nature of the world right now. We're taping this at the end of October for people who are listening. So there's just so much right now. So like I joke around for the first couple minutes because if you can't dance to funk music, this happens. And I'm not hiding this. I'm not saying like this is, I'm very nervous that this won't become a funk. This will be a hole again.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone. First of all, I know you know that. As a matter of fact, Mom and I were talking about you last night, which I'll save for later, in a positive way. I think what this stuff never goes away, and this is not to add to your, funk or your bordering around the hole or anything like that. It doesn't go away, but it definitely gets muted as time goes on. This is also new to you, and the things that you're thinking about. I know sometimes we think about this and we talk about it, that I'm so far away from it that I'm, maybe too far away and I'm not relatable. Trust me, brother, it's highly relatable. Just because I've beaten it back, like it's still there. Like those feelings are still there. I've been able to beat it back. And I give examples. Yeah. I give examples like yesterday was my ex's birthday. And we've been gone, we've been apart for a long time. Still is a bummer, like I have memories of celebrating her birthday and with the kids and with the family and her family and dinners, etc. And that's what they are, and I use these terms. Like what I gained from that was not only a couple of awesome kids, I gained a lot of memory equity. And I think you got to remember that stuff. And I know that there was a part of your marriage, and you're talking about this openly, which is great, that you weren't necessarily so checked in. You didn't necessarily know everything that was going on. You weren't so happy, but you need to think back to the times that you were, and when you go through times like this, when you get to this anniversary of your anniversary, of which you're no longer together, those are tough days, and you're allowed to have a tough day. What you can't do is you can't connect the dots. You can't connect the dots. You can't put it all together because Dan, for anybody that's listening, anyone that's feeling similar, like they do the same thing, and what it does is it starts to drag you down into this negative force, and you have to take each event, each thing that's going through your mind in a manageable bite-sized chunk. And if you don't, it's going to be like you're at a massive buffet and you're going to be overwhelmed because you don't know where to go. Do I go to the salad bar? Do I start at the carved meat station? Do I just go right into the desserts? And that's a
Never go to the
positive thing
salad
to
bar.
look at.
That's just empty.
Right, you're not making your money off that.
Why
But
are you
you get
spending
my
money on lettuce?
right. But you get my point. I mean, as I was a kid, we used to go to
Look, no,
Sizzler every day after school.
I get your point, and I appreciate that. I do. To me, this isn't as much connecting the dots. It's just a lot that's happening at once, and I'm actually, I'm all right. Like I think it's going to be weird on Sunday, the day of the anniversary. I was actually in Philly the other day with friends and walked past the restaurant that I got married, and it's like I worked when my last office that was in the city was half a block over. It was like literally across and so like I'm not there's not ghosts. Like I didn't want to bring the furniture from my house because I didn't want to sit on ghosts. Like I wanted new stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't but this I'm okay with, honestly. I mean right now I am. It's just it is looming. I'm actually quite more upset about the fact that like I have to now go find a new therapist, and you can't redevelop that relationship so quickly. And it's so difficult. Like you can't remember all the stuff that you went through to get to a certain point. And now I'm going to have to sort of like allow someone to read my entire mental history on a piece of paper or listen to me for 10 minutes and then try to develop a path that we're going to go down for the next 6 months or year. I'm taking a couple of weeks off. I've joked a couple times that this was going to be my therapy. Like I'm doing that because this is like when you get married and then you get divorced, as you said to me a bunch of times, like you can't get into another long relationship because you're comparing it to the previous one.
Yep.
And it's weird to like,
but Dan, you've also come a long way. So what you got to remember is, look, I get it, and I'm not downplaying it. I understand it's hard. I see it. I hear it in your voice. I see it in you. I know we talk about this when we're not doing a podcast. And what I can just say is that you are in, although it's hard and you're looking back as to how hard it was to get going with her and how hard it was to like share all of these things that you're going through. She actually, the reason why it's hurting you so much is not only are you a little bit scared, but you spent so much time and energy telling her about all these things that were in your past and how to work on them so that you can be better moving forward.
Oh,
and
yeah,
by the way,
for sure.
She helped you. So you do need a little bit of a break. I'm not saying how long, and we can talk here and we can talk off this, and you need to have a family member or a friend and whatever that you can talk to when you're in these funks and that you can go visit and whatever, and which we'd always love to have you here, of course, with the kids, at any point you need to. If Sunday's one of those days, that's cool. But I think that taking a little bit of a break and recognizing that your next relationship with a therapist is going to be different, and it's going to be better because you are in a better spot. You might not be in a better spot today. You might not be in a better spot this weekend, but you are better than you were 6 months ago. You're better than you were a year ago. And you 100%. have to give yourself credit for that progress. And again, I understand you can mourn this loss because we all mourn our losses, but you have to recognize that this will springboard you into a better relationship with a new therapist.
I do. I do recognize all of that. I think a couple of things, because I'm sure people are nodding along with you right now, and whatever.
And you.
But fine. If anybody has a tissue that you can throw me through the screen, that would be helpful right now.
You can use my sleeve.
Second time in a week.
Move. You can use my sleeve, right? There we go. There we go. There we go. All better.
Yeah, that's good radio. The issue is not that I'm not giving myself credit. I absolutely am. I am giving myself as much credit as I have ever in my entire life. This was not easy to do and to go through. It's weird though, because like when you pay someone at least $15 for, we had pretty good insurance. So like you pay someone $15 bucks a week for, almost 150 weeks, give or take. And it's like, that person's my best friend. Like, she knows more stuff about me than you do,
Yeah.
without question.
Yeah.
Like, without question. I
Yeah.
and I'm not going to share the specifics of this, but like, when I was really bad, and by the way, let me just preface this by saying, if anyone who's related to me is listening to this, just turn it off for like just go listen to funk music for like the next 45 seconds. I'll wait.
Well, I'm related to you, but go ahead.
Well, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I told my kids they can't listen to this, but if they are, they can't listen to this. So
Yeah.
Unring this bell, please. When I got really bad, I used to drink smoothies every day. That's not why I was bad. I was looking something up about like how to handle certain stone fruit. And in that research, I found out that certain stone fruit, the pit is toxic. And I had come up with the perfect crime. Everybody else can read through those dots if they want to. It was perfect. Inexplicably, I made a smoothie every day. Nothing would have, and it was done. And I thought until that point, Jesus Christ, I thought until that point that I would never even entertain that thought unless I could come up with a way that it wouldn't ruin my family's life. And then I did. And so I told her, because when I told her, it wouldn't be the perfect crime anymore. And I've told this to like 3 people in my entire life, so I cannot fucking believe I'm doing this right now. But that's why I told her, not so she could help, but so I wouldn't get away with it. And to think about how I was then to how I am now, it's a different person. I don't feel like the same person. And I credit myself, but I also credit what we did. And so in a way, I am more upset than when I was married, because she's just gone. I mean, she's listening to this. I know she is. She told me she would, but you know what I mean. Whatever you're about to say.
I wasn't about to say anything, to be honest.
I appreciate it, but I do. Preemptively, I appreciate it, but I'm doing this instead.
You can keep that. You can keep that on the baseline background if you want to for the rest.
No, because actually I would, but for the people who are listening just audio, it's really disruptive. I used to do that on my old show every once in a while, and people are like, "Can you not do the music because we're listening at like 128 bits or 256?" Right. And it's like, come on.
And we're having a moment, and we're getting drowned out by music, and everyone's interested in hearing what we have to say.
Yeah, and again, for the people who maybe turned it off before, you can turn it back on now.
I don't think they would know that was the cue. I'm
gonna hold up Phil Collins into the. So then now they know.
Right, Phil Collins is the cue.
I can't sing Phil Collins like we did earlier. I can't because his voice is too high.
Nor can we play the drums like him. Although I'd like to do that. Music is sort of cathartic for sure, as we were talking about before, getting out of the funk.
Can we do something like hilarious and fun?
Or do you
say.
I can't. You can't say all that and then. Or,
I mean, I can. I don't need your.
Well, you did, and I understand you don't need it, but then you're like, it's an incredibly important time in your life, and I think a lot of people that are listening, whether they feel like that right now or have felt like that in the past, they're relating to it, and I think it's probably upsetting to a lot of people. And I don't have a magic wand, and I don't have any, amazing answers. I'm not a therapist. I'm a caring guy, and I'm a loving brother, and I want you to be better. I want you to be better. And what that means to me, hold on. What that means to me is, this, it's hard work, right? Life is hard work. No matter what, is put in front of you, no matter what obstacles you have to, jump over. And all I can say is, like, to all of us, and I understand this is a really hard time for you, and I'm very sensitive to it, and I want to make sure you're okay. all of us have challenges that mean a lot to us each day. And the way that I deal with this, and I understand you're going to think like, well, that's ridiculous, or people think like, that's just you, Scott, like this is how you deal with things. But I actually think a lot of people need to look at it like this, because life becomes overwhelming really fast, and you lose people, you lose relationships, whether it's through breakups or, divorce or death or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You have to take it one day at a time. And I find myself doing this often, where it's like I look into the future and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to make it? How am I
Let
going
me
to
tell you
make it?
this. Let me tell you this. And people have said that to me a lot in my life, especially, a couple years back when it was, I patted myself on the back when I got off the couch at 11 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock. You can, and I don't mean this to you specifically, I just mean this in general. You can take your one day at a time and put it on Netflix and binge it to death, because that's not me. It's not one day at a time. It's an hour at a time. It's a minute at a time.
It's a minute at a time. I get it.
There were days where it's like, no, I'm not worried about tomorrow. Are you kidding me? I'm worrying about the next 4 hours before my kids get home from school.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm ever going to get back to that point. I have a ton of coping skills in my arsenal. I have a ton of knowledge and a totally different outlook. And frankly, medication. And I know people like and don't like that. And that's a hot button topic that is not what we're talking about now. Some people think that people rely too much on that. And I have a tendency to agree. And yet I'm here because of it. So I am in a different place. The one thing that I did say to her a couple of weeks ago that pertains to exactly what you just said, which is kind of why I didn't want you to say it, even though you're entitled to it. I mean, this is your platform as much as mine. That's very pep talky. And that's what people who aren't clinicians, who aren't professionals, that's the tendency that people go to. You'll get through it one day at a time. And it's very, and I'm not disparaging what you said. What you said is very thoughtful. But when your brain processes information, at least the way I do, it's not, the pep talk I'm resistant to that, because I hear that as everything's going to be fine. And I'm not saying that you said that. You look on your face. I feel like you're like, no, and I am mind reading and I am putting words in your mouth, but that's how I've always heard that, is people have faith in me and I read it as dismissive. When somebody says you'll be fine, it's because they trust that they have faith in me as a person, that I will get through difficult times, that a hole won't develop from a funk.
Right, but
I hear that differently.
Part of the process of what you're getting to, I understand you process things differently and your brain processes things differently, but the fact that people have faith in you, like, it may not help you in the minute to minute or the day to day, but somewhere in that mind of yours that's processing things differently, you have to take stock in the fact that people do. And I'm not trying to be preachy or pep talky or anything like that. Like,
I know,
like, people do. And by the way, part of it is, I understand it's a real struggle. I understand you're going through these transitions and it's hard, but you have to be like, you have a responsibility to be there for
I'm not
your
at that point right
family
now.
and for your friends and all that other stuff. Like, that's what I'm saying. But at any point, like, you got to think about that. Like, that's an issue,
What are there, like 400-pound people coming down your steps? My God.
I mean, the kids are homeschooled, so they're running around.
Well, this is a good time to lighten this up. I will say this, for people
would you like to say hi to your nephews?
Oh my God, are they going to be on the show? Oh my God.
Ah,
I can't hear.
That's Jack.
Hello.
Right. He's waving
Tell
right
him,
now.
Tell him nice logo that they stole from me.
They didn't steal your logo.
What high school does he go to?
Uncle Dan.
What high school does he go to?
Ramapo.
Yeah,
Uncle
they
Dan
stole my logo.
Uncle Dan says that Ramapo stole his logo design. Oh,
no.
He said we kind of did. He actually said we kind of did.
Scott, hold on. Not kind of. When I designed the Rutgers logo, Greg Schiano, who's the head football coach now, who was the head football coach then, came to me and was like, I want an R. First we did RU because he wanted it like Oklahoma. But then he's like, I just want an R. And I designed 50 of them. And then we ended up with the one, you see next to me.
He's got it behind him right on.
And he says to me, can you stretch it out?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. He goes, can you stretch it out? Because I want it to look like this. And he showed me the Ramapo High School R. And I said, that looks like Purdue's logo with a stick. And he's like, can you just do it for me? And I did it. And he's like, yeah, that doesn't look as good. So then we came up with the R that we have. And now his old high school uses our logo instead of Rutgers using his old high school's logo. They did take, it's sort of, that's the story. They took it from us.
Yeah. Well, so Jack admitted. I mean, not that Jack's the authority, not that Jack started using.
But literally, I am the authority on this.
I get it. There we go. See, all of a sudden, Jack comes down and you're out of your funk and you're talking about logos. There we go. That's minute to minute, right, buddy?
I don't know. I mean, we'll give Jack some credit, but I think there's. I don't think it was just him.
It was the funk.
Can we God, this is so good. Still 50 minutes left. I keep pausing it. Can we do something really fun before I encapsulate the week into what is about to happen this weekend and how I'm very frustrated at life in a ridiculous dating way. All right, this is I swear to you, Scott, this is real. I didn't make this up. And what I want to do, and the kids are going to love this if they want to watch this one.
Well, you're in my ears. They can't hear anything. So.
Oh, but this is a visual thing. If you're not on YouTube, sorry, you're going to hate the next couple of minutes because this
Luke, you want to watch something funny? Well, I can tell what Dan's about to show me. You want to see it?
These are actual, Scott. These are actual dating profiles. These are the either only picture or the initial picture on actual dating profiles. Some of which have matched with me. So can you see that? Are you looking at what I'm looking at?
These are actual dating profiles.
Some
of which that have matched with Uncle Dan. So he's obviously got to make fun of people. This is a great show.
So,
yeah.
And by the way, I didn't take off their names because you can't see anybody's faces. So like, sure.
Right.
So Cat 50, that is what it is. Yeah. Yes, definitely tell him that. Let's see. Amber, 44.
Just boobs.
But here's my thing. But it's not boobs. It's not. It's a big line between boobs. It's the void between. It's cleavage. How is this enticing? Like, if this is the woman's only picture.
What's that?
Every profile.
Yeah. I mean, Uncle Dan gets a collection of profiles.
Love.
This is what he does. Yeah.
Like, at least in this case, there's like definition. You can see some shape.
Well,
not
and
just
she's being responsible. She's masking it up.
She is masking it up.
See?
Oh wait, no, that's the same person before.
Wait.
I must have gotten her matched with me twice.
Twice? Or
No, I didn't. I just had it in there twice.
Wow.
Easygoing, smart, fun, enjoying walking outdoors.
She's seeking a financier?
Yeah.
Does that mean she wants money?
Sugar daddy. This is a sugar daddy situation. Yes. Here are my breasts. Give me money for them. That's what that is.
Boy. Yeah, I'm so glad.
Excellent massage therapist.
I'm so glad you had me bring Luke over to look at these pictures.
Well, I thought it was going to be Jack, first of all, who's 17.
It's like the same thing every time.
Right. Luke just said it's just the same thing every time. Might as well be the same person.
Why is she married?
Wait, why is she married? That's what Luke just said. Why is she married?
Well, Luke should learn a little bit about polyamorous and ethically non-monogamous people.
She's looking
Let's
for
have
love.
him sit in.
She's looking for love in all the wrong places is what basically is happening.
Looking for a mistress.
A mistress. Yes. Ooh, maybe she is the mistress, maybe. Yes.
This woman's only 4 miles from me, so this could be
she's 4 miles from you, but I mean she's showing off her more than just her cleavage. She's showing off.
There were
her
only
legs
two
too.
photos. If you notice at the top, you can see the little white bar. That means there's only 2 photos because the bars are thick at the top of the image. So I don't remember what her first one was. This was a while ago.
I don't know.
All right, this is
right. Luke just said again. Everyone's exactly the same.
Some of the women might have the same necklace.
Right. Well, this one's not so much the same. Those are big.
No, I can increase my chances to match with her by three times if I press the star. Apparently on this one.
Yeah, well, that's got to be money. It's got to cost you money. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Well.
Hey,
Scott. This is totally like gratuitous at this point. Like, come on. Like, this is a never-ending cavalcade of cleavage.
Cavalcade of cleavage. Do you know what cavalcade means? I don't know what a cavalcade means. A lot. Oh.
Black and white. Now we're going artistic.
Right. It's just getting risky. Eesh.
That woman tried to
That's-
match with me. This last one. Actually, no, this isn't the last one. Here
Oh.
is here's the money shot. Scott, this is the money
Oh.
shot.
Literally. Wait.
It's literally money. The woman's
So-
only profile photo is $500 in hundreds, and then probably like $300 or $400 in 20s.
What does that
That's
mean?
it.
I think it's 600. Actually, it's $700 in 20s and a stack of 20s. It looks like, what does that
Oh,
mean?
in hundreds,
Is she looking for a sugar daddy? Is that what that means? She's looking for a rich
Maybe
dude?
she's looking for a sugar. What would I be? Like maybe I'm looking
You-
for a sugar mama, and that's her.
You should.
She's got
You
cash.
should. There we go. See, this could be a good match.
She's
dude.
my
You should
age,
Look,
driving
you should
distance.
look for. Yep. You should look for a sugar mama.
Yeah. All right. There's one more, which I
There's
think is
one-
honestly.
There's one more.
I think it's the
Luke.
best. I think it's the best one.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh no, wait, that's a
What-
picture of my calves. That's sorry, that's my
Oh.
calves.
Dude.
That is. Tell
What
him
the
before
hell?
he thinks it's a butt.
That's Uncle Dan's calves.
Look at the definition on the left one. It's just
Oh
like
my
it comes
God.
in.
He just walked away. He was like, "That's it." He's had enough of you and your calves.
There you go. So
That's disgusting, is what he said.
I'm glad he was here to experience that. That makes me a great
oh
uncle.
yeah, that makes me a great dad.
I'm uncle of the year.
Luke, was
That's
that,
a callback to our first
was
episode.
that funny to you? Yeah, he said it was very funny to him. So
All right. So here's my thing. We'll wrap up on this. As I will just, if you bear with me again, this we will lay the funk bed underneath. I'll put it on quietly.
yeah,
So here's what happened this weekend. I hung out with a woman last week or so, and it was awesome. Had a good time. And we were supposed to hang out on Friday. She wanted to hang out Wednesday, but that was my last day with my therapist. So I was a little nervous of being out of my own
Yeah.
head. So I went out with a friend. Actually, I think we talked about this last episode. The friend who was debating whether or not to break up with her boyfriend, who was going through a divorce, the woman I had previously dated, and I was like, well, she's calling me. She's
Yeah.
probably already made that decision. She and I went out on Wednesday, platonically.
yeah,
And I was a mess because we went out and I didn't realize that she was going to just like leave halfway through a drink. So I was watching her drink and I was like, oh, she hasn't. So I thought we were going to hang out for a while. And then she's like, no, I have to go. I'm on like a sleep regimen. I have to go to bed by a certain time. And I was drunk. And I'm like, now what the hell do I do? And so I literally
tell me you didn't
sat
go
in
into
my, I didn't drive. I sat in my car for like an hour or 2 hours and then drove 2 miles to get a coffee and then sat in my car for another half hour. And I ended up getting home on like a 15-minute, 20-minute drive in like 3 hours because I wasn't going to drive. I'm not going to
No.
drive.
I mean,
But,
you
like-
gotta, call an Uber, dude, or a Lyft.
No,
don't know.
I wait. I mean, again, I just don't sleep. So what did I do? I just waited until like 1 a.m. and I got home and she got home at like 10. So like, it is what it is. I was
Well, at
being
least you didn't go
responsible.
into at least you didn't go into the park and start making out with homeless chicks.
No, I did think about going back into the bar and try to make out with randos in there, but with the masks, it's a little difficult to see what they look like until the mask is off, and then then you're invested. So, but so I'm glad I didn't hang out with that woman on Wednesday, but we did make plans to hang out Friday, which is today. And I said yesterday, like, hey, what do you want to do? And she had to cancel on me because her ex has to work, and now she's got to take the kids. So now I went from like a certain ending to the day was imminent to completely having no plans at all. Now I'm going to be working on divorce stuff for our clever little
You
website
almost said
here.
for me. You almost said for me.
I
That was a
almost said for
slip.
you.
You almost said for me.
I did.
This is. There's a lot of people involved in this. Don't say for me.
Holiday weekend for those who are listening in the future. I hope it's a fine future, but for us, holiday weekend, and I have plans for the day of my former anniversary with a friend, but I was trying to have like on the actual holiday, like go out with someone. And I have plans with a woman who I hung out with a couple of days ago. She's really nice. We had a nice conversation. I thought that it went really well. Apparently she felt the need to tell me that she will not be able to participate in certain functions or actions this weekend because as she said eloquently, a visitor came to town unexpectedly early. To which my response was like, did you think I was going to bail on you because you got your period? Like, are you kidding me? Am I that horrible of like a sex monster? And she was kind of like, yeah, I got the sense that that's what you were looking for. And I was like, oh, frick? Like,
Did
what
you
a
give her
dick
that
I
sense
am.
that that's what you're looking for?
I
Probably.
didn't think so, honestly. Like, we had a frank conversation about stuff. The reason that she thought that is because I did go back to her apartment. We hung out. We didn't do any of that. But she is the type of person who said, like, if I'm going to sleep with someone, I expect that person to stay over. And I had told her the story about how that has not been the case for me. And I had a panic attack when a woman thought she was staying over and this, that, and the other. And so that's where the conversation went. I thought it was a mutual conversation about how we react to intimacy. She took it as I was trying to bone her, and the fact that I can't this weekend, she was like, do you really want to hang out with me? And I'm like, that is what got me into this funk, honestly. I was feeling not great, and then I'm like, I haven't evolved at all. In the last 8 months, if this woman who I thought I had a great, I thought we connected on an interpersonal level.
Nope.
We have similar thoughts, similar careers.
Nope.
No, I'm a sex monster.
Nope. That's you are taking one individual element that's a trigger. It just triggered you into a funk.
Yeah.
It's always something. That's not what put you in the funk. That's what it is. And by the way, you should just be honest and say, like, that's not who you are. And
I did.
And you're totally fine to hang out. So are you hanging out?
I think so. I think we smoothed it over after a while, but it was like half the day where I was really upset and didn't want to talk anymore. I'm kind of like, I can't. How do you come back from that? If I like try to kiss her or something, she's gonna think like, oh, here it comes. Like you can't.
Come on.
You can't get away from.
Come on. She was very specific about a very specific act that she can't partake in, or isn't comfortable partaking in. That she can't. She could. You might not like that.
I don't care.
But I don't care either. But
another show.
That's a very different show. But by the way, like the woman for tonight that has to, be around because her ex isn't around and she has to be around for the kids. If the kids are young enough, can't you like FaceTime with her later and just like have a conversation and just hang out like that? Like, I think that's cool.
Yes, that's not really what she was looking for in hanging out.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, what she was looking for.
She precipitated that in the previous exchange. Yes, I was
had
very like,
of...
hey, whatever happens, I'm cool. And she was like, no, I know it's gonna happen. So yeah, the exact opposite. Although I'm cool with that. So I'm very like whatever. Like we're adults, so whatever.
Well, look, at any point, I'll reiterate, all these women aside, that you're always welcome to take the short drive up to New York, not for a woman, but to hang out with your brother and your nephews.
I appreciate that. I really do. I'll probably just end up on Tinder and trying to find people in your neighborhood who are single. Not gonna lie. I'm a sex monster. If I was allowed to put on James Brown, I would be like, I'm a sex machine.
I mean, that's your personal opinion, but you'd have to interview some of these folks.
By the way,
that wasn't
can I tell you?
55 minutes, was that?
There's more than one song.
Oh, gotcha. It was 50.
It's like an album. It's not like one jam for 50. You know how much your thumb would hurt?
Fish.
If you're like a slap bassist.
That's what Fish does. They just jam forever. That's what Paul says.
So, she's gonna kill me, but I don't care. The woman who I went out with the other day, platonic. Although we're both. I'm so glad that she's in my life in a way that because we dated. It was very intense. And then I broke it off because I wasn't ready for what she was looking for. And I felt very adult and stupid at the same time about that. And that kind of changed my perspective on all of this. I'm really happy that we are like still in each other's lives in a different capacity right now. She's the one I joke around about when this thing goes big and we get rich and I have a Porsche Taycan and a garage to plug the car into. She's the one I'm going to ask out on a date. Like, cause that's who this person is to me. What I found out this week is, part of the reason why she liked me so much, because we're not at the same point, and she was looking for a long term and she knew that I wasn't that. She credits me for her, quote, sexual awakening. I told her that she's Stella and I am how she got her groove back. Ooh. Do you know how good of a feeling that is when you hear from someone?
All right, so why don't you hold on to feelings like that? Why doesn't that catalog?
Because now we're just friends and I can't pay that off. There's no payoff on that.
For somebody else you can. She's giving you confidence. Yes. Like, again, put that into the catalog of, positive things that are
Man,
happening.
I'm
in
not
your life.
not positive. I have multitudes. Like this. My
Highs and
life is a
lows.
roller coaster.
Yeah,
Again,
so
look, the thing is, and I don't know if I
very much
mentioned this
This
before.
show is a roller coaster.
I don't know if I mentioned this before. I have mentioned it on previous episodes and stuff, but part of the reason why I said like your pep talky thing I reject is because, and I work on this a lot. There's no medication for it, but there's therapy for it, which is another problem that I'm nervous about. Is when you have borderline personality like I do, people hear that and they think like, oh my god, you're a maniac, you're a sociopath, whatever, and maybe I am. The sex conversation is probably not helping me with people nodding along, but what I have is a need for affirmation and for acceptance and for adulation, and so but it has to be on my terms. Like I need you to know that logo they they borrowed from me. Like you know what I mean? Like there's a compulsion for me. Like I did it. Your kid goes to a high school that has and that's just how my brain works. And I've tried so hard to swim, upstream against that current for years. And now I have the coping skills to do that. But then when you get a text from someone thinking like, oh, I just thought all you cared about was sex. I'm like, wow, that's why I feel like maybe I haven't come as far.
Your mind works and processes information differently depending upon where you're at that point. You just said it's like a roller coaster. When you're on the downswing of a roller coaster, you're going to process information very differently than when you're in the upswing, and that's just how you're doing it. Like that's just the deal. I don't.
Did you hear that Bing? I think my computer was telling us that we've reached the limit of. I don't know if you heard that or not, but I think we beat Prince. If I wouldn't have stopped recording all the time, we just played it through, I would have had a better sense of how long this show has been.
Yeah, I think we've taken this pretty long. My coffee's cold.
Oh yeah. Let's end it the way that you like to, because you are the sage wisdom sharing guru of the two of us. How do you want to end this?
Well, I appreciate. I'm going to end it in two quick ways. One is, for everyone that's thinking about this, you have somebody in your life that you can go to, and even though you're in a funk, in the back of your mind you remember, and for you that's me, and I love you, right?
Yes.
And so I think that's important. And as always, as we go through these different roller coaster of shows, we talk a lot about ourselves, but remember, we're all doing it for a reason. Kids first.